Hello everyone and welcome back to Mr. and Mrs. Social Studies. My name is Sarah and today we're getting into how to set up your syllabus and the things you should include on your syllabus, which can definitely be a stressor for new teachers or anyone as they prepare to go back to school. And especially if you teach multiple preps, you may have multiple syllabi to put together, so it's definitely important to make sure you're covering the important stuff while also not overcomplicating things. I think my very first syllabus that I put together during my first year of teaching was a bit of a hot mess. I remember finding free examples online and using that as inspiration, and I think I came up with way too many policies. It was just a lot. So keeping things simple here is so important. And I'll be actually walking you through these different 7 components using our editable syllabus templates, which are available for PowerPoint, Google Slides, and Google Docs. I will leave those linked below if you like the format of what you're seeing and want to use that yourself. All right, I've pulled up my editable syllabus template, specifically the Google Slides version, or one of them at this point. So I'll walk you through these sections on my screen. I just zoom in so I can see it a little better and it will show up better in the screen recording here. So you're going to type your subject name at the top. So for example, if you're an ancient civilizations teacher, just switching that out. You can also have something else in the title if you want. Then I will move into typing my name. Then you can plug in school details and your email address. And this section is just very important for the basic contact information. Most likely email is going to be the way that you wish to interact with parents more so than phone. At least that was my experience. I would more so do phone calls if something was more urgent or there was a behavioral issue that had come up. Emails were more so for administrative tasks, grading, or grade-related issues. So email in there, but you can also adjust any of the fonts as well as any of the formatting. So I've just got a little welcome message there as well here. The next phase of your syllabus is going to be the course description, and this you're going to customize to the different topics you're going to be teaching. So you can see here we've just got it set up. In this course, students will learn, and then you can list off the things they will learn. That could be either sentence format or with bullet points. Keep it simple. I feel like the syllabus, it is very important, and it can lay a good foundation or like structure for your class. But also, if we're being completely honest, how often do people actually refer back to the syllabus? I think it's, for many kids, especially at the middle school level, it's not really going to be something they refer back to or even think about after going through it with them and signing it. So I like to keep it simple for that reason. And you can see here some of the topics we'll cover so you can list that out. So we want to keep it simple. You know, you can type out related topics, either, like I said, bullet point style or written out. It's also important to reflect about what materials students need. And along the same lines as before, we still want to keep it simple. So if you're not sure if something's going to be needed regularly, don't list it on here. Some common things that someone might need regularly could include a pencil or something to write with, notebook. Maybe they've got an assignment notebook from the school where they can record their assignments. Maybe there's a textbook for the class they have to bring every day. Maybe they have a Chromebook. Obviously, customize this based upon your needs. You also may, with your teaching, decide that, for instance, maybe they don't need to bring the textbook every day. Maybe they can keep it at home because maybe you've got a class set available. Or maybe you just don't plan on using, maybe it's a digital textbook and not a printable one. Likewise, one of the things I did, students needed their notebooks every day for class, and I actually had crates in my room where they could store their notebooks by class. And that was really great because it helped kids be more organized, especially if they didn't want to bring things back and forth, since they did need it every day. That's where I had students do bell work and many of our daily activities. So we've covered introduction, course description, and materials. Grading policy comes next. Again, keep it simple with the most essential information. On this template here, you can see that it lists out the grade breakdown. It's likely that your school has a similar breakdown, but if not, obviously you can adjust that information. And then also a few other details about late work, absence policy, extra credit opportunities, and that sort of thing. This is designed to be very general, so if you aren't yet sure what your policy is going to be, or if your school doesn't have strict policies, feel free to even use these exact same policies. These are the exact policies that I used. I know pretty general here, but they work. After grading policy, we can get into expectations. Now, again, this is where we don't want to overcomplicate things. I think in my very first syllabus, I had over a full page of expectations that were probably a little wordy. So I really try to maintain a simple theme with these. And as you read through these are general that can apply to any class. Of course, you can tweak anything that you want here and adjust things, or if you want to add more, you could feel free to, adjust the font as you wish. So you can fit more in there. But that is just an example with expectations and deciding what is going to be most important. Now with this, you don't necessarily have to get into all the individual class procedures. I know in previous videos we've shown our class procedures posters that can go around the room and explain lots of different things, how the student enters the classroom or leaves the classroom, how they start their day, different policies for how they carry themselves throughout different situations. But this is more so the general stuff. And also, like I said, if students aren't going to be referring back to this document regularly, which they probably won't, it's very important that you have your more detailed rules and policies listed somewhere in the classroom, always as a visual reminder. Finally, 2 sections left. You'll want to have some sort of consequence section, most likely, especially so students are aware of behavior policies. And it's just nice to have these sorts of things written out so everyone is aware of what those situations are. Hopefully your school does have somewhat of a school-wide or district-wide policy that you can implement yourself. That always helps for consistency, but also some schools don't have a really good discipline policy or really any clear expectations, which makes it really difficult for teachers. That was actually the situation with Jake's most recent school. Basically, no clear policies that were very helpful. And unfortunately, that's a recipe for just problems happening. So with this, you can see here, this is just a very generic situation. These were consequence setups that I used as well with 8th grade students. Referral, not so much. We didn't usually get to the 4th offense situation here. So I tried not to, have things escalate to that level, fortunately. But again, decide what you want your policy to be or follow your school policy. The very last section here is just the student and parent signature section. This is just a good way to acknowledge, hey, we've read it, we are aware of what's going on here. And with this in mind, as far as specifics, I always like to give plenty of time for this to be turned in. Yes, I have had teachers or been aware of other teachers who say, okay, this is due tomorrow or this is due, 2 days from now. But I always like to give plenty of time for this with the understanding that I want parents and guardians to be able to see this, but I also know that every family dynamic is different and some students may not be able to get that parent signature with such a quick turnaround. And I think it's important to leave plenty of time. So for instance, if I'm handing this out the first or second day of class, maybe the first full day of school, which for me would be on a Thursday, I might not make it due until the following Tuesday. And I could make a point to collect any each day that were done, just so I can start getting them in. But the whole point, in my opinion, is to give plenty of time on this just to make sure that you're being respectful of a family dynamic, especially in these early phases as we're getting to know our students and starting to build these relationships. So once again, that is our editable syllabus template here and the sections that I recommend you include on your syllabus. Leave any questions you have in the comments below. And once again, you can access this template. It is linked in the description. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new around here, go ahead and subscribe up here so you don't miss out on the rest of our back to school series. And I've got 2 videos linked here you might enjoy as well. We'll see you next time. Bye.